worthy ones. No, I'm not going to mention them now, am I? I'll be doing that on my blog at rickygervais.com. I've had thousands of emails over the past few days saying, why, oh why, was the invention of lying not nominated? I don't know. I just don't know. Maybe the DVD will win an award. That's out Tuesday at Walmart. So go and buy that. One thing that can't be bought is a Golden Globe. Officially. I'm not going to do this again anyway. But if you were to buy one, the man to see would be Philip Burke. To introduce him, although I already have, this seems rather pointless, but she's here now. Ladies and gentlemen, from Desperate Housewives, Felicity Huffman. The serious bit now. The Golden Globes is shown all over the world. It is oblivious to colour or creed. It doesn't just celebrate talent, it celebrates difference. It crushes prejudice and stereotype. One stereotype I hate is that all Irishmen are just drunk, sweary hellraisers. Please welcome Colin Farrell. This next category is a bit of a downer, to be honest. It's for writing. We all know writers get way too much credit in Hollywood, and that's due to the generosity of actors sometimes mentioning them. Do you know what I mean? But what would writers do without actors? I don't want to keep going on about actors, but they're the most important ones, okay? It's not the words you say, it's how good you look when you're saying them.
In today's world, it seems like every word can be seen as an attack. Some people want you to believe that words are the same as violence. You may have even heard someone get upset over a joke about something like, say, making fun of a disability. Just because something offends you doesn't mean you're right, right? Offense is all about feelings, and feelings are personal. Take Ricky Gervais, for example. He once said, "If you try to please everyone, you'll please no one." Think about that for a second. In a world where some people are upset by equality itself, it's clear you can't second-guess every opinion. If you're always trying to please everyone, you'll end up pleasing no one. And Ricky's certainly not trying to win over Hollywood. In fact, he's been calling them out, and let's just say, they're not exactly thrilled about it. But how did we get here? How did Ricky go from being a beloved sitcom star to the celebrity who's now a thorn in Hollywood's side? There's a pivotal moment for
Nature dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can't. Oxbridge comedians writing for the posh papers, telling you the rules of comedy. They're laying down the law, right? And it's all stuff like,
Or do you take the risk? For Ricky, that moment changed everything. Hollywood had no idea what was coming. Ricky didn't just wake up one day and decide to take on Hollywood.
I'd never heard that term, before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old
star to a household name known for speaking his mind was a gradual buildup, driven by a deep frustration with the way things were going. Ricky Gervais has always had a knack for calling out the hypocrisy he sees around him, especially in Hollywood. Remember The Office? That awkward, cringe-worthy masterpiece that made us all squirm? That was Ricky testing the waters. He wasn't afraid to make us uncomfortable then, and he certainly isn't afraid now. Back in the day, he was poking fun at middle management,
even acknowledging that she used to be a man. But she did. I saw him on the Olympic Games.
But now he's aiming straight for the A-list. And let's be honest, as the creator of The Office, it wasn't Steve Carell who made that show what it was. Steve's great, but Ricky was the one behind the scenes calling the shots, making us laugh and cringe all at once. But these days, people act like words are just as bad as physical violence. You might have laughed at a joke about a disabled person or something controversial, and someone got offended, but that's the world we're in now, right? Offense is everywhere, and everyone has their own idea of what's acceptable. As Ricky's star rose, so did his willingness to
think that you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like. I want people to stop saying that joke's offensive.
At first, he made gentle jabs, but over time, those jabs turned into straight-up truth bombs. He wasn't just there to tell jokes. He was there to expose the uncomfortable truths that others were too scared to address. Here's the revised version of your script. And boy, did he make his point at the 2020 Golden Globes. Ricky Gervais went nuclear. He called out Apple for running sweatshops in China while preaching about morality. He told celebrities to stop using the stage as a platform for political speeches, saying, "You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world." He even joked about Jeffrey Epstein. No one was safe. But here's the thing. Ricky isn't just trying to shock people for the sake of it. He's got a philosophy, and it's pretty simple. Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right. Offense is personal. It's all about feelings, and feelings are different for everyone. So, go ahead and leave a comment if it bothers you, but honestly, it's no different than reading a toilet wall. Ricky says he's never been upset by anything on Twitter.
Why?
Because he's too busy enjoying life. In a world where everyone's tiptoeing around, Ricky's stomping around in steel-toed boots. This mindset sets him apart from his peers. While other comedians are apologizing for old tweets, Ricky's doubling down. He's not trying to play.
Now they have free speech zones, which sounds cool and nice, but not that long ago, the entire university was a free speech zone.
Yeah. I want him to start saying, I found it offensive, because that's all it is. You're just telling me.
Listening. With every appearance, every controversial joke, Ricky's fan base keeps growing. He's tapping into something, a frustration with Hollywood's preaching and a desire for someone who'll cut through the BS. Being the guy who says what everyone's thinking isn't without its risks. His Netflix special Supernature was a perfect example of that. Ricky Gervais has always been about testing just how much truth the entertainment industry can actually handle. Was this the moment Hollywood would finally push back? He didn't just push buttons with his Supernature special, he detonated them. Supernature dropped on Netflix last year, and the backlash was immediate and intense. People were up in arms, saying, "You can't say that. You can't cross those lines." The comedy police, writers for posh papers and self-appointed comedy experts, started laying down the law. They said comedy should punch up, but Ricky wasn't having it. He hit back hard. One of the biggest points of
Punching down. But people nowadays want you to believe that words are actual violence, right? Now, you laughed at a joke about beating up a disabled toddler. Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right. You know, it's...
Especially when he used her former name. Critics slammed him, accusing him of dead naming. Now, that was a term a lot of people hadn't even heard of before, and it wasn't long after the Golden Globes that the phrase started getting thrown around. But Ricky? He called it as he saw it. Ricky Gervais didn't back down when the backlash hit. He explained that the crime he was accused of, dead naming Caitlyn Jenner, was really just acknowledging reality. He pointed out, "We all saw the Olympic Games, it was everywhere, and that's part of our history." Ricky wasn't trying to be cruel. He was highlighting the absurdity of pretending someone's past never existed. But Hollywood didn't laugh. The backlash was swift and fierce. He was accused of transphobia, insensitivity, and just being plain rude. But here's the thing. Ricky didn't apologize. He doubled down. He acknowledged that Caitlyn Jenner used to be Bruce Jenner because, well, she did. Ricky argued that acknowledging someone's history isn't offensive, it's just stating facts. "It's absurd to act like Bruce Jenner never existed," he said. And you know what? A lot of people agreed with him. While the Twitter mob was losing their minds, something interesting happened. Ricky's popularity skyrocketed. Turns out, there's a whole group of people who are sick of walking on eggshells. They're tired of being told what they can and can't say, and they found their champion in Ricky Gervais. It wasn't just about comedy anymore, it was about free speech. It was about standing up against a culture that seems more focused on feelings than facts, and Ricky Gervais was at the forefront of that charge. He asked, "Do you think you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything you don't agree with or like?" He wasn't back
Platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know
comedy anymore. It was about free speech. It was about standing up against a culture that seems more focused on feelings than facts, and Ricky Gervais was at the forefront of that charge. He asked, "Do you think you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything you don't agree with or like?" He wasn't backing down from his point. Ricky wanted people to stop policing what's offensive and what's not, urging us to stop worrying about every joke that might hurt someone's feelings. He also took aim at the idea that comedy should only punch up. According to Ricky, sometimes you've got to punch down, even if it's about something as extreme as making a joke about beating a disabled toddler. He wasn't advocating for cruelty. Rather, he was making the point that humor doesn't always follow neat, simple power dynamics. The controversy surrounding Supernature didn't just boost Ricky's profile. It ignited a much larger conversation about the role of comedy, free speech, and the growing influence of cancel culture.